Appreciate everybody being here. This is another opportunity for us and this football team to play a really good football team in Western Kentucky. And this is a perfect example of why you cannot look at a team's record and assume anything. They're 1-7. They've had 4 3-point losses and 1 8-point loss. So that's 5 one-score games that they've lost. So they've been just about in every game. They had a tough one there at Wisconsin to open the season, then the Charlotte game. But every other game they've been right in there. So don't look at their record and assume that this is not a very good team. It's a very talented team. You go through all the statistics that you guys have there that AC and Tony Stennett provide for you. You can look at it. We're very similar from a statistical standpoint in the conference. Not a lot of separation between these two teams from a statistical standpoint. We all know this game, the history of this game, the rivalry of this game. We all understand that. We know that. We understand, excuse me, how close these games have been the last several years. It's a highly competitive game. Both teams play extremely hard. Both teams want to win it really bad. So we're not looking at 1 second their record. We know we're going to get their best shot, but we want to make sure they get our best shot too. And we're still in the hunt, and you get to this time of the season, that's all you can ask for is still be in the hunt. And we're in the hunt, and we had a good win last week, but we flushed that yesterday, and we got started on Western yesterday, and we'll have a great mental approach to this game this week on a short week, just like they are, obviously. And we got to do a good job of trying to get healthy, take care of our bodies, and be ready to come out and play a very physical, tough football game.
Coach, you kind of mentioned the Friday night game. You've already played one this year. How do you take what happened that week into this week and try and do the same, because you got to win on that Friday night?
Well, that's a heck of a catch right there. I feel like we've got a good plan. I felt like we had a good plan going into Marshall. The thing that's different now, it's been, 4 weeks since that Marshall game, so your body's changed a little bit. But we've got a good plan. We've got a good plan, and our players adjusted to that plan when we played Marshall. They've got to do a little bit more this week than they did against Marshall, but we've got a good plan, and it's bottom line is going to come down to execution on Friday night.
Just touching on that short week, is it easier for you guys since you guys don't have to use a day to travel, especially since the game is here on Friday?
Yeah, I think so. But you look at it, even if we were going to Western Kentucky, it's an hour bus trip. It's a lot easier than going on that plane to Marshall. Marshall's such a hard place to play, and I said it when there because of the travel logistics. I mean, you got to stay in Charleston, West Virginia, then you bus an hour to the game and all that. So that trip's a lot harder. That trip's a lot harder than what Western Kentucky is going to experience coming here. Conversely, we played them last year on a Friday. That wasn't a hard trip going up there from a travel logistic standpoint. So, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, it's going to be a lot easier to handle and organize, a little bit easier on our bodies as opposed to going to Huntington, West Virginia.
I think 4 out of the last 6 meetings in this rivalry have gone to overtime. What is it about these two teams that seems to always take extra time to determine a winner.
Two evenly matched teams, I think, and you look back over the years, it's two evenly matched teams. And when there's not a whole lot of separation between you, usually it's a close game and it goes down to the wire. So, it's that's one deal, and both teams, it's important. It's an important game to both teams, and I really take a lot of pride and I'm proud of our players in how hard we play every game. I've always said who you play doesn't determine, how you prepare. It doesn't determine how hard you play. And, you turn the Old Dominion film on last week and you see how hard our guys played. Offensive guys, defensive guys, kicking guys. We play hard. We've played this game the right way. And, they play hard also. So it's usually when you have two evenly matched teams, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to determine a winner.
I know every loss sucks, but the last 2 years against Western, losing the way you guys did, is that a little more heartbreaking than some of the other losses that you guys have had?
It always, losing stinks. There's no better way to describe losing. It leaves a sickening feeling in your gut, in your stomach, and whoever you lose to, it's sickening, and it's because you invest so much to play that game, and when you lose, it stinks, and I've always felt that way. So losing a 1-point game or losing by 30, losing still stinks. So you hate it. You hate it for your players anytime they lose because you see how hard they work. So I've never said a 1-point loss to Western hurts more than a 20-point loss to Georgia. It's losing stinks, and it's just the way I've always been my whole life.
Don't mean to bring this up, but the last three matchups in the series, it's gone Western's way. What's been kind of the biggest difference over those last three matchups where they've come out on top?
Yeah, I knew that. I told our team that yesterday, that they've got us the last three times. And bottom line is, they've made plays, and we didn't. They made one more play than we do in close games. It's usually just a handful of plays that make the difference. And, you can go back at last year's game and you can pick one or two plays and say, man, if we'd have just done that, or, it might have been different. But they could have said the same thing. They could say, well, if we'd have done this or we'd have done that, it wouldn't have been in overtime. But bottom line is, when teams are evenly matched, you got to find a way to make one more play than they do and give them credit. They've got us the last 3 years.
Your team is 4-1 in conference, 3-0 at home. You're 12 yards away from dropping 500 on offense, and you had 5 turnovers this past week. What kind of confidence is in the locker room right now?
I think we're a very confident team. And even though our record did not indicate it, going into the FAU game, what were we, 1-2? Going into the FAU game, I was confident in our team. I believed in our team. I believe our team believed in themselves. I believe our team thought we were a good team at 1-2. I think coming out of the FAU game only magnified that belief. It gave us more confidence then because, FAU was the darling of this conference, and all you heard about was this, and all you heard about was this and that of FAU. And, how good we played in that game, offensively, defensively, kicking game, it just gave us a little bit of juice, a little bit more confidence. They were rewarded, our team was rewarded, for their good play. And prior to that, you know, we were playing pretty good football, but they weren't being rewarded on the scoreboard. And then we went to Marshall with a ton of confidence, and we won that game. And, you know, everybody knows what happened at FIU, and we came back and, you know, we beat Charlotte. And I told you Charlotte's a good football team, but all you guys, not you guys, but everybody wants to talk about, you know, because they only won 1 or 2 games the last couple years, they're not that good. You know, I think they proved that by knocking off Southern Miss last week. And then, you know, you go to Old Dominion and, you know, they beat Virginia Tech. You know, they have a miraculous win at Western Kentucky. And, you know, we go up there and we play really good. Like you said, we create a bunch of turnovers. We, you know, move the ball. We get big plays, explosive plays on offense. We score on defense. Our kicking game is sound. You know, so this team, you know, in my opinion, Stephen, we've always been a confident team. We've always been a team that has believed in one another and believed in this team, and now they're starting to get rewarded by it on the scoreboard.
Terrell had a big day for you, rushing, especially that 70-yard touchdown that he had on Saturday. How important is that to have another performance like that from a running back on Friday?
I think it's more important that our offensive line plays the way they did Saturday. Again, they were really good. You know, Chandler Brewer and Pete Bohannon and Josh Fannin and Carlos Johnson and Amir Luckett. Those guys were really good up front. And so they deserve the credit. Obviously, Terrell does too. But I think that's where it started. I think, you know, Chandler and Pete and Carlos, you know, the 3 seniors up there, you know, really had a good edge about them, took it personal that we wanted to run the ball better. We had a good plan going in. Like I said, after the game, we were going to come out throwing it and then try to hit them with some creases in the running game. And, you know, that's what we did on the second drive there when Terrell ran hard. You know, did a nice job when he was in there. Made some big runs. You know, was very productive. Chiton was productive. Tavares Thomas was productive. So obviously, you know, we have not been very good in the running game from a running back standpoint. You know, so it was good to see that, and we need to continue that here the rest of the way.
I think Western lost their quarterback after the second game of the season, and since they've kind of used 2 guys, do you really know who you're going to prepare for, who you're preparing for? Are you preparing for both of them for Friday?
You know, the thing, their offense hasn't changed. It hasn't changed drastically depending on who the quarterback is. So, you know, we'll prepare for 12. I know he got hurt on one of the last plays of the game, but he came back and was out for a play. They scored a touchdown on the play. He was out. Then he came back in and ran their 2-point play. And then the last 4 minutes of the game, you know, they had 10 in there. So, you know, we'll prepare like we always do for their offense and not one particular player.
Coach, could you talk about your defense played great across the board, but Reed Blankenship's day all around, pretty good day for a college football player.
Yeah, you know, I thought our defense was really, really special. The first 3 quarters and maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes of the fourth. Then the fourth quarter, we kind of relaxed a little bit. And I don't know if relaxed is the right word, but, you know, we gave up some plays that we didn't give up, you know, during the course of the year. So, but I thought our defense was relentless. I thought they played fast. I thought they played hard. I thought they were physical at all 3 levels. I thought our front did a really good job. I thought our linebackers were active. Darius Harris is having a great year and continues to play really well. Khalil Brooks, you know, showed up there with some plays of his own. And then, you know, on the back end, we got hurt a little bit. You know, we lost, you know, OJ, they're the 20th play of the game, and then we lost Kylan Stribling, and then we lost DeCorian Patterson. So we were a little bit makeshift on the back end, but Reed held it together back there. Was really good. He was active. He got some pressure on the quarterback. Obviously, everybody talks about his interception, which was a fantastic play, a great play. But I'm always going to talk, and I told our team yesterday, I'm going to talk about the play where he ran down the guy on the 5-yard line. That, to me, that's what this team exemplifies, the effort that we play with. So I'm happy that he intercepted that pass, and that was a big game-changing moment. But just to see him finish a play, our defense to finish that play, they scored on that drive, but there's going to be a time where we tackle him at the 4 or the 5 and we keep him out of the end zone. So, but Reed was really good that game.
What's the status of Javante? I know he missed last week, and then he was suspended for the first half against Charlotte, but what's his status?
It's still up in the air. He's overcoming, those 2 shoulder surgeries, and, he could only play the second half of the Charlotte game. We've decided to keep him out here the last few games to make sure he's healthy. Because that's hard to overcome. What he's overcoming right now. So, right now, we're holding him out. Good deal. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a happy Halloween. I thought Halloween was Saturday, but Mark told me it was Wednesday, so happy Halloween to everybody.